Hi there, this is Archive Moon with Star Siren Astrology, coming to you in this incredibly sensual and earthy, grounded, practical, getting it done kind of full moons in Virgo. And it's not only because the full moon is in Virgo that I say it's extra earthy and grounded. It's also because we have Saturn and Pluto and the South Node and Venus all in Capricorn. We have Mars having just moved into Taurus. And so we have a lot of Earth here to really ground us and to really bring up these places of our value and our self-worth. And then we have Uranus and Aries still calling in that lightning and that fire and that transformation. It's like breaking through the foundations and wanting change and still wanting that liberation. And we have a lot of water. We have Neptune and Mercury coming to conjunct in Pisces. And this is beautiful. This is bringing in this beautiful, dreamy, mystical, connective and highly emotional and magical qualities to this. So the first transit I want to speak to is, of course, the full moon. The full moon in Virgo is this beautiful, big, massive moon for one. It's a super moon. It's going to be highly affecting our emotional world and the tectonic plates even of the earth. The full moon really creates this portal, and this portal is a powerful one. It means that we can access our higher selves, and we can access that which we're calling in. And it also means we can really be affected by the collective and by these potentially darker forces or sabotaging energies. And so this is a time of not becoming unconscious and drinking and fleeing and trying to cover up all the emotions and the fruition of what it is meaning for us. But it's actually a time of honing in on what is the ceremony that we're in, and how do you create your field. How do you contact that moon or your higher self and all of the energies that you're allied with that fortify that prayer that is ultimately your life, and fortify your vibration no matter what is going on, because this is a time where a lot of shifting is happening. A lot of shifting in our foundations and our structures, again, at large, the powers that be, but it is also a time of excavating ourselves and our sense of worth. And so we want to be able to connect to the absolute highest of that when we're doing that deep work, right? So with the full moon in Virgo, it asks us for an extra bit of purification. How can you bring your physical body, your health, your routines of your life, your house, your organization, your routines, your daily devotional practices, how can you bring that into more alignment with what is your soul calling you to do? What other ceremonies are you in, and how can you create structure? How can you organize things? How can you separate the wheat from the shaft? It's the harvest, which is Virgo. And so this is a time of knowing what you need to release and what you want to put your energy into. This is a perfect example for me. It was I have a lot of work coming into me right now. With all this earth stuff going on, it's people are wanting to really hold on to their money, or my sense of my what I value myself or my prices can trigger other people, or there's this thing going on with people and what they value and money. It's an extra time for me to get really clear on what do I value my work on, what nourishes me, and then am I moving from a place of scarcity? Can I say no when it doesn't feel aligned with my energy, when it doesn't feel sustainable? And I have, and then it shows me, it's okay, more, here you go. Here's more to say yes to. Here's more that actually feed that new pathway, that feed that new reclamation of value and sense of worth. And so this is really a time of getting clear on what we're meant to let go of and purifying ourselves. Again, bring your physical surroundings, your physical body into alignment with your spirit. And when we bring our physical, like devotion and our practice and our routine, all that supports us in our life, into alignment with our spirits, in alignment with like that thing that feeds us, that thing that like brings the worship into whatever we're doing. Virgo is also about mastery. And yet Virgo can get hypercritical and judgmental and also rigid and controlled. And so we want to like be aware of those places where we want to control or we want to contract, and make sure that's not contracting and constricting the like spirit of Pisces from flowing in. You know, the sun just moved into Pisces. It's a beautiful time. I love Piscean time. Neptune and Mercury are coming to conjunct in Pisces. And so we have this really beautiful Piscean energy with this full moon in Virgo, with all of this earth grounding it in, you know, and that Piscean prayer is really a prayer of connection. It's really a prayer of like, can you let like spirit flow in through that vessel and like sing through that instrument that you have like so divinely and masterfully created, you know, sing through that art, dance through it, you know, because the spirit of Pisces is the spirit of the divine that flows through. And it's also like, can you surrender? Can we surrender to the things that we want to cling to, the things that we're afraid of? You know, this is a challenge to the Virgo that says, okay, it's got to be like this is right and this wrong, and you know, I got to like have my ego like this, and I got to have my body like this, and I got to do this like this, and meditate like this, and I can only orgasm and ascend like this, and all of these things. And instead Pisces is like, okay, yes, and can you surrender to like let spirit surprise you? Can you surrender to like letting go of what the ego wants it to look like and still experience the rapture and the like transcendental experience of Pisces that takes us out of what our perceptions are, that takes us out of like any egoic and physical structural forms, and says connect to your heart and transcend from only you and see how it fits into the whole, you know. And so it's a beautiful dance to like be masterful, work hard, devote, and like create your body, your work, your home, your relationships in something that like holds the power that spirit can move through and create something magical. But don't let it become that rigid, controlling thing that stuffs the spirit out, and then you forget why you're even doing it. And then we become hollow and separated and like lost, essentially. And that Pisces is there to remind us, like, don't get lost. Like, don't forget why you started that journey of whatever it is that you're cultivating, you know. And also the full moon is about cultivation. It's about fruition. So it's a time to ask yourself, what is this fruition for you? You know, like, it's a 6-month journey from the new moon in Virgo to the full moon in Virgo. So like, what have you been doing? What have you been cultivating? You know, what have you become masterful at? And have you somehow lost the spirit inside of that, the prayer inside of that, the connection inside of that? And how can you just call and reclaim that in to that beautiful prayer that your Virgo is so diligently working for, you know? And with that big, beautiful full moon in Virgo Earth, we have all of the Pluto, Saturn, Venus coming right in between Saturn and Pluto, and the South Node all in Capricorn. So we have this massive, like, energy of Earth and responsibility and duty, and like I said, really excavating our power, our structures. This is a time to like really be understanding, like, where is your power? You know, who are you giving your power to? What do you value? What do you place your worth in? What are your reactions, you know, to the systems or the structures or your own duties and responsibilities? Are you saying yes Are they responsibilities and structures that are nourishing you and supporting you, or are they draining you? You know, this is a time of like, you know, use that Virgoian full moon, separate the wheat from the chaff, and like really understand what patterns and routines and structures in your life are ready to be like let go of and reintegrated. And like Venus coming in between Pluto and Saturn, I mean, this is a massive, I said in the video before, like this is a big transit. We have been all waiting for this Saturn and Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, you know, where it's like a deep transformation of power and the systems that are supporting our lives and supporting our society at large, you know. And with Venus coming right up in between it, it brings our heart, it brings our relationships, it brings our personal. Like Venus is the part of, you know, our chart that brings like your personal relationships, your personal sense of value and self-worth, like unconditional love, and like how are you in your relationships, how are you with your own body, with your own finances, you know. So this is like bringing a really personal piece to this big ceremony of healing this Capricorn. And this is a crucial part of it. You know, it's a time of like, oh, we might have been looking outside of seeing like the politicians and seeing like what's fucked up and like what needs to be healed in the larger systems of society. But Venus says, okay, now where are you doing it in your life? Like, where is, again, your self-worth, and how is everything supporting and feeding and reminding you of that? Like, and especially with money right now, I'm feeling, and I think like in intimate relationships, it's like I want the way that I engage inside of those relationships with money, inside of relationships with intimacy, to reflect back, to sing back to me like my worth. Not in a way of like, ooh, I need you to validate me, ooh, I need this job, or ooh, I need this partner to tell me this, and my love to tell me this, and my boss to tell me this. But it's like, no, like we need to be creating our life and holding our boundaries and really asking for a balance and for a relationship, for a dynamic, for a life that supports that which we value and that which we claim, and that which we feel we deserve and that we are worthy of, you know. And so this is a time where constrictions of money or reflections of different things regarding, you know, your worth, regarding what you value is going to come in. And it's like the time is to allow that to be a test, allow that to be a challenge of like, okay, how do you stand in that worth? How do you co-create that, you know, and find a healthy way to do that? And we have Mars having just moved into Taurus. It's been in Aries like this whole year, just fiery, volatile, like passionate and ready to make changes. You know, Mars in Aries is strong, and it gives a lot of energy to forge a pathway, to slice through the illusions, to break free and to move forward, to start things. You know, it's like, what do you need to start? It gave us a lot of energy to do that. And now it's in Taurus and it says ground it in. Like, make the slow, diligent, methodical, practical steps to like actually plant your garden, grow and tend and water those seeds. And I also think it brings an extra emphasis on worth again. And so, you know, I could see that Mars, anywhere Mars is, it can be like, it's time, I want this. And it can also bring a little bit of that volatility. And so like this could be a time of like really, you know, doing the work and like having that energy to move forward and create the things and actually get it grounded in. But it can also be a time of like, you know, wanting to fight for your worth, or wanting to fight for validation, or something like that, or like wanting to really like overwork or be too materialistic, you know. And so this is a time of letting that Mars that is still right next to Uranus have that higher perspective and have that like lightning energy of being able to pierce through the like physical or egoic illusions of what we would cling to. Especially Taurus can cling for a long time, especially out of scarcity or out of comfort, especially out of survival, you know. And so this is a time to allow that warrior, you know, to, yes, in a sense, fight or like put your energy into creating that which you value and reflect that worth to you, but not in a volatile, fighting way that seeks to fight for validation or prove itself, and also not in a way that seeks to like expend all of its energy to create stability in this false sense. Like, let that Uranus and Aries radically shift what you value, shift the way you've been going about it, you know, and allow these things to like come in, maybe in an uncomfortable way, because Uranus does that sometimes. It comes in, it's like fast and harsh reflection, and it can like make you want to cling, can make you want to like hold on, trauma, fear, paranoia. Oh my God, we gotta like make sure we're safe, make sure we have enough money. But instead it's like, oh no, like let Uranus bring a new perspective of how you're meant to be with your money, how you're meant to be with your energy. If you find yourself expending too much energy or depleting yourself, it's like time to rewire that, you know, and trust that this transit can bring you into a different relationship with that, you know. And so with that, let all of that beautiful Piscean energy that says connect, bring this spiritual higher perspective of deep soul connection, of like connection of intimacy with others and with the divine. Open up to magic and poetry and dreamy, artistic, beautiful nature, and bring it in to your work, bring it into your relationships, bring it into your daily tasks, you know. And then also let that high energy of Uranus that's still fiery in Aries, while we have it, we have that energy, and let's still use it to change the way that we move in the world, change the way that we work and the way that we are with money, and the way that we are with our own sense of worth, and the way that we are in relationships. So with that, it's a lot. It's a lot of earth, and there's beautiful water and fire to kind of move through those foundations. So let it come into your body and let it like fill you up, inspire you, and like break you free. All right, so blessings on this full moon. And may you open to like the perfect way that all these energies want to come in and like bring that deep alchemy to you, to like transform and like deeply initiate you in the most graceful way.